You like what you see?
I've given up.
This is big league, I'm a big deal.
Welcome back to Middlesbrough, the Riverside Stadium, which is just a few steps from the banks of the River Tees and in view of the famous Tees Transporter Bridge. Cars, but England know that they can't afford to carry any passengers into the tournament. Everybody has to be ready, even those who might not be in the squad. Gareth Southgate has tried to play down the idea of home advantage at Euro 2020, but his team have become reliable at winning games on their own turf. They've won 14 of their last 15 home games, and 10 of those wins have come without conceding a goal. Tottenham fans might recognise or might not recognise Vlad Chiriches, 65th kit cap tonight for Romania. He played with Harry Kane and Carl Walker. And tonight he will be trying to keep out Marcus Rashford, who captains the team. He is the 11th captain that Gareth Southgate has selected. And before we start, all the players taking the knee. Gareth Southgate, Jack Grealish and Calvin Phillips expressing their disappointment with the reaction of those who booed here on Wednesday night. There are still boos this evening. They reiterated it is not a political endorsement but support for equality, and they say they are determined more than ever to keep doing it. Early nervousness at the back for Romania. Lee Dixon is with us this evening. It's not a straight audition between Godfrey and White, but how will tonight influence who is the next cab off the rank?
Well, I think it probably is, actually. You know, Gareth will be looking at them at right centre-back and right-back and trying to decide who fills that spot, as you said. And I think it's a big night for both of them. I think it's very close between them, if indeed he goes down that road and doesn't go for another midfield player. So you could kind of play yourself out of it or play yourself in the squad today. Big night as well for Marcus Rashford, captain on that left-hand side. Can he get his form back? I think if he does, if he plays well, then for me, he's a starter next week.
This is Godfrey, who has played at right back, in fact made his debut for Everton, coming off the bench to play right back in a Merseyside derby. Sam Johnston getting the opportunity to play for the national team for the first time. Second call-up to the squad. And Mings has made a mistake. Malabek just chasing it through. That's going to be the first corner of the game. Hasn't got Cody alongside him today to keep him switched on.
Well, lack of concentration there. He just looked up as the ball was coming to him. Got to iron those mistakes out from the start, that's for sure.
Romania are a very tall team. I saw that when they were lining up for the national anthems. Sending towards Chiriches. Kept alive by Chicaldu. This is Paun. Paun once again. And a few moments of early nervousness for England.
Well, they want the ball pretty quickly. Mings just to get that mistake out of his psyche, but again they get caught out. And that left-hand side defensively, Shaw going tight. No one covering behind him. A nervous start for England.
On Wednesday night is on the bench this evening. Johnston, whose kicking is pretty reliable. A few West Bromwich Albion fans were slightly nervous when he started to try and play out from the back. Not really used to that, but I think the fact that he was playing behind closed doors at the Hawthorns allowed him to sort of develop it over the course of the season.
Well, you have to say, Pickford's kicking the other night was absolutely brilliant. At his feet, pinged 2 or 3 into midfield that were just like a ball playing centre half. Absolutely brilliant.
James Ward-Prowse. Godfrey back to Ben White. Forward by Nil Charu. The interesting battle between Calvert-Lewin and Kirikez. This is Nil Charu, currently playing for AK Athens. Well, one back by Calvin Phillips. I don't expect this to be a friendly in anything other than name. Georgie Hadji talking this week, suggesting the Romanians would target this game because beating England gives you great prestige. They were also involved in a match against Georgia on Wednesday that included 7 bookings and 2 sendings off. That was a friendly as well.
We saw the build-up the other day was slow. They didn't have any runners behind England in that first half, and that's where Marcus Rashford coming. We've already seen Sancho is going inside now, trying to get the ball in midfield. And Rashford staying out on that left-hand side. Needs those runs behind just to push the back line back. It's okay for Sancho to come in.
This is Shaw exchanging passes with Rashford and bounding forward. He's travelling a long way with it. Jack Grealish is further wide. Van has gone out to chase him. Rashford. Ward-Prowse on to Jadon Sancho. A really good end to the season with Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga. He's a star of the German Cup final. A nudge into Jack Grealish, who was fouled regularly on Wednesday night. And is he not? And he's had some shoulder and toe problems, Marcus Rashford, which haven't helped him. Did hit a bit of a sticky patch in the second half of the season for Manchester United. He finished it with 1 goal in 10 games. There's no better way to ease yourself into a tournament than by trying to continue the winning habit.
Sure, should have knocked the ball then. Rashford made the run, he's behind the fullback, just clip it into that hole. Obviously got that relationship to Manchester United, but on that occasion Shaw just had his head down.
Ben White just waiting before distributing the ball, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin similarly had made a run. They do look for Rashford this time. Couldn't get it under control. And England struggled to take their chances that they constructed in the first half an hour against Austria on Wednesday. Then because of that narrow advantage, they were hanging on at the end when they found themselves down to 10 men. But regularly, England don't concede goals. Only 1 in their last 5 games. Phillips. Shaw. Again, leading the England charge. Nil Charu away. And Phillips with an ambitious effort. Why not?
There's a good run from Shaw again. Rashford giving him an option. what that does as well, it drags the fullback into a deeper position. It opens up the space for Shaw to run into. Good combination between those two. Should open that left-hand side up.
We just saw Milan Radoi, who is the under-fire head coach of Romania. He was promoted from the under-21s, where Romania shocked England 2 years ago in Italy. He's definitely been dealt a tough hand with retirements and the overriding feeling that Romanian football is not in a great state, but at heart he is an attacking coach.
Good position there from Ben White. Can't get pinned down by the big centre forward. Ali Beck just trying to hold him off, and he just comes round the side, gets his foot in.
There's another one that ticks the versatility box, isn't he? A multifunctional player. Ben White played right back, centre back and centre midfield for Brighton this campaign. Was pretty useful for Leeds United in the Championship. It's an ambitious cross which is going to go over the head of Ivan. Rashford. Grealish. Lovely exchange with Rashford, trying to get the ball into the centre. Was there a handball by Kirikes? Romania can't get it clear. Rashford trying to bamboozle his way into the box. Stopped in the end by Marin, who's now bursting forward and leading the Romanian charge. Paul. A little reverse ball down the left to Camora, and the effort that came in was from Marin, who arrived late into the box and tested Johnston for the first time.
Oh, Godfrey's looking up and asking Sancho, where were you? 2v1, got to go with the runner there. As soon as you go towards the ball, there's a runner outside, you're going to get taken out of the game. That's a good chance, that is, for Romania.
And they're certainly not blessed with their best squad. Even when they have everyone fit, they are not competing at the top table. But they're without Dennis Mann, George Puskás, who's at Reading, Mahalia, Krista, Florian Andone, who's down at Brighton, all injured or unfit. Burka and Banku, two of their defenders that starred in the under-21s, have been struggling, and they're without a man who would have played up front this evening in Florin Tanasa had he not been sent off against Georgia. Familiar sight of Jack Grealish getting himself rather well acquainted with the opposition. Sancho's made a run which has not been flagged by the referee, and he's picked the ball up here. And it's Jadon Sancho, opened his body up and went for the top corner. Missed it by some distance in the end.
Well, he creates the space himself. He looked offside to me, and he was. The linesman just having a little bit of a break, not bothering to put his flag up. Once he gets in this position on his left foot, should be hitting the target, just leans back with his chest, and then the ball follows.
No VAR in operation tonight. In fact, I just wonder whether or not you think maybe because of the fact that it's going to be used in the tournament, they missed the trick by not playing at a stadium where it was in operation for these friendly games. Gets you in a very different mood, doesn't it, when you've got the all-seeing eye. Here's Grealish. A lovely little run which didn't end up with a cross that was dangerous enough, but he's always a danger whenever he picks the ball up.
Just look at the white shirts around him. That's what he does. He attracts opposition towards him. Couldn't get his cross in the box, but that's why he gets fouled so many times. He's got a languid style about him, a little bit like Gaza.
And he's yet to score for England, Jack Grealish. They'll be hoping to put that statistic behind him
sooner rather than later. James Ward-Prowse with the corner. A bit of pushing and shoving in the middle of the box. Ben Godfrey was involved in that. Foul has been given in Romania's favour.
Just tries to get in front, doesn't he? Mings it was who had hold of Kirikes.
Phillips. It's Grealish again. Ben White flipping it over the top for Rashford to try and attack. Shaw backing him up. Full of energy, Shaw, in the early stages of this game. That's a rather awkward attempt at a clearance by Nidal Charu. And Romania have got a problem with Ivan, who's down, looking as if he needs some treatment. He's back on his feet again now. Second England corner of the game. Gareth Southgate was talking yesterday in the press conference about how important set plays are, detailing the number of goals and big matches that are decided by them. Ward-Prowse's delivery is always decent. Nidal Charu is alert to that danger. Florin Nitzer attempts to clear. It's given back to Tyrone Mings. Ward-Prowse again, nice bit of skill. Grealish from distance. 5 or 6 yards over the top of the crossbar.
Oh, he looked like he changed his mind just as he was going to hit that. Thought he was going to put power on it. It just looked like he tried to bend it in the end. And did neither.
I just get the feeling that Jack Grealish is starting to find his rhythm in the game.
Well, he was like that the other night when he was marked really tightly for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and he just started to find the space. There's no doubt when he gets in those positions, he makes things happen. Just looking at Calvert-Lewin, there's not been an awful lot of support around him. Rashford staying wide. Sancho's not really been in the game. It's a lone figure up front. Just need to get a little bit closer to him. Maybe the odd run beyond, like I said before.
Johnson. Best kick out. Comes straight back to Ivan. Chicaldo. Sorescu. It's a decent looking cross, and the header wasn't bad either. Godfrey had to be alert at the back post because he was being joined by Kamora.
Yeah, it's dangerous getting into that near post in front of the first centre half. Mings not really doing anything there. And Godfrey cleaning up at the back post.
Malabek with a casual touch. Romania did fail to qualify for the European Championships. They lost in a playoff against Iceland. Currently ranked 43 in the world. But it isn't all bad. They have actually won 5 of their last 6 friendly matches against the likes of Israel, Sweden, Chile, Finland and Belarus. Flicking through the Romanian press this morning, he is under pressure. Haven't kept a clean sheet since October 2019. England will hope they don't start to find that habit tonight.
There's not a lot of goals in this Romanian team. 12. Mind you, I'm looking at the England team. There's only 19 in the England team today.
3 full debuts in the England team this afternoon. Very warm late afternoon in the northeast. Rashford. Calvert-Lewin sprinting in behind. little flick which almost took it over the top of Florin Nitsa. It's a bit more dangerous from England. Calvert-Lewin is a bit different to Harry Kane, isn't it? Harry Kane will drop deep, try and dictate the play, try and make something happen. He needs runners beyond him if he's going to succeed with that. Calvert-Lewin's quite happy to stick on the shoulder of the last defender and try and dart in behind.
That was a good run he made, but other players around have got to make a similar run, give the effort that he's done, because when he crossed the ball, there was only Sancho coming in.
Rashford. Hurricanes dispossessed him. Sorescu, who only made his debut in that game against Georgia on Wednesday night. Very quickly, Romania have gifted possession back to England. Sure. Ward-Prowse. This is Sancho. Ward-Prowse looking for Rashford. It's a better touch from him. Sorescu pushing it out for another England throw. Phillips. For England, blue shirts on the edge of the penalty area. Grealish. Having some attention again. Phillips. The referee has allowed play on. Grealish is still bemoaning the fact that he should have had a free kick. Sancho. Gets it back after it smacks off Chicaldu. That's a decent ball into Rashford, who was fighting Nitsa for it. The goalkeeper's starting position was good. His anticipation pretty good as well.
Yeah, it had to be. Good ball inside the full-back though. Better from England.
One thing Romania did do was back in March, held off a German onslaught. They lost 1-0, but the team played very well, and Nitsa, who we just saw then come out and meet Rashford at his feet, made some crucial saves, so much so that Manuel Neuer made a big point of going over to him and congratulating him afterwards. White.
It's a big game for Sancho, it really is. Excellent form for his club. We just haven't seen the best of him for England. He's just trying to get himself in the game. Kamora, a left back, not really been troubled 1v1 by him. Keeps wandering into that midfield area.
Interesting they've deployed Paun out on that side as well, just to sort of ensure that there is enough attention on Jadon Sancho.
Thing is, when he's vacating that space as well, no disrespect to Godfrey, that's not his game, getting the ball like James Wood or Alexander-Arnold and crossing balls.
Rashford trying to take on Sorescu. Beats Sorescu. See you later, pal. Just couldn't find the ball to Calvert-Lewin or Sancho. Both went in towards the goal as he tried to pull it back. Quick feet from Rashford, he was very speedy down the line. A fit, flowing, confident Marcus Rashford will panic any defence. Sancho. Godfrey backing him up. Godfrey. Well, that's not his game either, is it? Found himself in an unorthodox position.
Well, it was just rolled back to him perfect. Sancho bringing the two defenders towards him. Just a little dink to that far post. Runner's going in the box. But his right foot, as soon as he goes onto his left foot, we're expecting something like that. It's just decision making.
Marcus Rashford was standing on the edge of the area at the other end, waiting for a pass. Phillips has done brilliantly here with a high press, trying to put England on the front foot. He's excellent at that, Calvin Phillips. Grealish. Rashford. Holds off one challenge, takes another, wants a penalty. Referee says goal kick. Now they might want VAR.
Well, the defender puts his foot in once outside the box, and then Kirikes comes over. Well, he's got it right there. Well done, the referee.
Tiago Martins is the Portuguese referee in charge of proceedings.
He's been sharp though, Rashford. He's looked a lot better. Let's give the fullback problems. He stays out on that left-hand side, and the fullback's not sure about his distances because he's got to put cover on for his centre-half. He also knows that Rashford's outside him on this occasion, middle of the pitch.
Space for Shaw over on the far side, but he's gone to Sancho instead, and in the end couldn't get beyond the fullback. Godfrey. Shaw's willingness to get forward over on that left-hand side will help Rashford. Grealish. Onto Sancho. Calvin Phillips encouraged to shoot from distance. He's not a regular goal scorer. It's a bad ball into the edge of the box. Godfrey with a brief glance at the referee. I think he's going to get a penalty for that. More football coming up on ITV. A little bit later on this evening, you'll be able to see the international highlights, including Scotland's game against Luxembourg. There's also an intriguing match between Belgium and Croatia, which we'll show you the goals of. And highlights of the opening game of Euro 2020. We can't wait for this. 11 o'clock on Friday on ITV and STV. And then our first live match, Belgium against Russia, Saturday night. What a way to start. At 7 o'clock on ITV and STV. Busy month, and we cannot wait. I don't think he can wait for everything to get started as well. It's a slightly different uniform to Russia in 2018. I'm not sure that that's going to fly off the shelves like the waistcoat.
We've had a little debate on that pre-match, haven't we? Righty, our style guru. Not sure he's too impressed.
It's all very slow and deliberate from England so far. The best chance of the game has actually fallen to Austria. Did I say Austria?
You did.
I meant Romania.
It's been a long week.
Still got Austria on the mind. Make that mistake again, it'll be good night Vienna. Grealish fouled again. This time it was Chicaldo. Had a little tickle. White. England dominating the ball. Rashford. Can they find a way through this Romanian defence? He's been leaking goals for fun. With the exception of that Germany game, they're averaging 2 goals a match. White.
All very, very tight. Sancho maybe come to feet and then just spinning the hole. Fullback fully committed to closing him down.
White quick to try and dispossess Pone. Rescue takes it down well. Chicaldo. Ivan. Rescue. Pone trying to volley from distance, and it's a second save that Sam Johnstone has had to make in the first half an hour.
Well, the pull back, it's not a great cross in, but got to close him down the edge of the box. They do that, and it's an easy save. But a nice one. Sam Johnstone. It's good for him to get minutes. You don't want to be going into a tournament with no minutes under your belt, so I think Gareth's made the right decision there.
It's another one who's making his first start for his country today. Adrian Pone, who's a serial winner with Cluj. Trying to play it down the line for Sancho, blocked by Camora. England have had a recent history of being frustrated by this manager and this country. The Romania team upset Adi Boothroyd's England under-21s at the European Championships in 2019. They played aggressive front foot football, and they've been pretty aggressive today. And Grealish has had enough of the aggression.
Well, he has been thumped 2 or 3 times, and the referees not give free kicks. Just losing his temper a little bit there.
I did warn you it wasn't going to be friendly. Well, he attracts attention, doesn't he? It has gifted England a chance to try and create something from a set piece. James Ward-Prowse, whose free kick delivery is always pinpoint. 5 of his 9 goals for Southampton this season with direct free kicks. He's not going to shoot from here.
No, but they're really high. Romania, high line, big space for him to hit.
He's attacked by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He hits the crossbar. Brilliant leap from Calvert-Lewin. A sumptuous delivery. It was begging to be headed towards goal. Goalkeeper was well beaten. Shaw. Nedal Charu with the header. Mings has got it. Will that inspire England to up the tempo a little bit? Prowse across in front of the Romanian. Ivan. Grealish. Exchanging passes with Rashford. This ball is a little bit too heavy for both Calvert-Lewin and Sancho, but they've had a good chance now.
Well, the very nature of the delivery, look how high the line is, a huge space for him to hit, and he gets up brilliantly well. We saw him jump, what, 6 foot in the air. against Austria and give a foul away on that occasion. He didn't need to jump that much, but gets the power and the loop on it. Great effort.
Now Dominic Calvert-Lewin is in the most prolific spell of his career. The back end of the season was certainly quieter than the first part of the season, but he plundered 15 goals in his first 18 matches for club and country. Calvert-Lewin ended up with 21 for Everton overall. And has earned his way into the position of Harry Kane's understudy.
Absolutely. Just looking at Ward-Prowse as well, I think he's really unlucky not to be in the squad fully. Obviously waiting on that last place. Gareth will make the decision tonight.
Think he's a live contender?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if he, if he has a brilliant game today, I think you get superb delivery from him. Obviously Jesse Lingard was another one. I just think going into the tournament with the amount of midfield players, or the lack of midfield players that England have got, that maybe he could have been an option, and he might still be. You never know.
If Gareth Southgate thinks that it's difficult getting it down to 26, imagine what it's going to be like getting it down to 11.
Might be easier.
It will be this time next week that we'll be looking back on England's game with Croatia.
Another really good run from Rashford. Mings on his left foot as well. He just looked up, and by the time he looked down, the run had been made and he missed it. He's just saying sorry to Rashford now from a distance.
Godfrey. Just about keeping it in the perimeter of the pitch. White going on a run, trying to supplement the attack. When he came off the bench in midweek, he did come off the bench to play in midfield, Ben White. A slightly missed time from Tyrone Mings after committing himself to the tackle. He's been caught a couple of times, hasn't he, so far in the opening 35 minutes?
Yeah, I think he'd be the one when they played the three, the one to play on that left-hand side instead of Maguire, but he's not had a brilliant first half, I have to say.
It's an ambitious effort from Stanchu. Certainly a gifted midfielder, Stanchu, but I think that was beyond his superpowers.
I think the centre-backs have just got to move the ball a little bit quicker. When they get the ball in those wide areas, open themselves up. There is a run on. It's a high line from Romania. Rashford made a few. Ben White just got it in the right back position, looked up. Sancho to the ball. Grealish to the ball. Talked about it earlier in the week with Austria. Defenders just love that. They love going towards the ball. Don't like running back towards my own goal.
Johnston decides to kick long this time. This is James Ward-Prowse. Shaw, Rashford. Trying to fire one in. England have at least had a shot on target now. Scotland have had more than that. They've gone ahead against Luxembourg. They lead by a goal to nil. Shay Adams with the goal. Or as his new friends are calling him, Shay McAdams. Actually, I think it was McShay first of all. He was doing an interview about just that subject recently. Southampton teammates giving him a little bit of stick. Here's Grealish. And here's Sancho. It's the second time that England have rattled the frame of the goal. That was a thumping effort from Jadon Sancho. It's just up the volume inside the Riverside Stadium.
Well, it's no coincidence that Jack Grealish involved in that move again. As soon as he gets the ball, he turns, he faces the goal, he makes runs, commits defenders.
Well, another foul has been given.
There he is, just a little back heel, out your feet. And the lean back this time is perfect. Well, nearly perfect anyway.
Well, that would have been delicious, wouldn't it?
Great technique. Just leans back enough to get the swerve and the dip on it.
It's beautiful the way he rolled the ball in front of him just to get the right way to address it. Fired it towards the far corner. Goalkeeper stretching.
Well, every time he gets the ball in his hands and puts it down for a free kick, you expect something to happen. Again, a high line, space is there, penalty spot.
Ward-Prowse again, aimed towards Calvert-Lewin, who did get there ahead of the goalkeeper, but there seemed to be some blocking off on the edge of the area just before that, and the referee awarded the foul to Romania.
Yeah, Kirikes it was who got fouled again. It's just Rashford doing a block on him. Not an awful lot there. He doesn't have to get out of the way of Kirikes. Just stands his ground and runs into him.
Crikey, it's been a long time since we had a streaker to worry about. Especially one that's still got their clothes on. The England fans entertained by that. The transgressor is being escorted off of the pitch. Just in case you heard any bad language in the background, we do apologise for that. It's a live event, we cannot control the reaction of the crowd.
So many things I could have said then, but I didn't.
It's probably best that you don't. Marin. England a little bit tepid in the first half. They have hit the frame of the goal twice. Sam Johnstone has been called into action twice, but yet to find a breakthrough against the Romania team, who will not be going to the big jamboree of football in the summer.
Well, it's all happened down that left-hand side, hasn't it, with Rashford and Grealish. And when Sancho did get his chance, he wandered over to that part of the pitch. And it looked dangerous down there.
There's excellent pressure from England. Happy to press high up the pitch. James Ward-Prowse, who is not in the final 26 for the European Championships yet.
He enjoys that part of the game, there's no doubt about that.
He enjoys every part of the game, doesn't he? He rarely misses a minute for Southampton. player in the last 2 seasons to play every minute for his club. Harry Maguire was on course to do a similar thing before his injury. Well, Harry Kane has been given a well-earned rest. He's still having to be a little bit careful about that ankle injury that has plagued him over the course of the last few years, but he has his own training plan, he's working to it. Anyone got any bubble wrap just in case? He's not the only one who's likely to sit out tonight. He is on the bench actually, Harry Kane. He's named amongst the substitutes, but we're of the opinion that he's been told he's not going to be called into action. Bukayo Saka is missing tonight. He's got a bit of a hip injury. It's not thought at this stage to trouble his involvement in the European Championships. Stanchu finding Marin. There's a bit of space here for Serescu. Ivan Serescu. It's opening up for him. And Johnston had to make a good save with his feet. Danger's not past yet. Marin. Stanchu. Couple of decent efforts from Romania.
Oh, it's not the first time on that left-hand side. They get caught out, little 1-2. Shaw just wanders inside, doesn't stay with his man. And as you said, Serescu gets his shot away and it's a good foot from Sam Johnson. There's 2 or 3 times now that just looked a little bit vulnerable between Shaw and Mings.
England just need to up their concentration levels in that area. Just wonder whether or not that moment right at the beginning of the match where Mings got caught, whether it unsettled him a little bit. Rashford trying to squeeze between 2 midfielders, expecting to get a free kick. The referee not having any of it. 1 minute of added time at the end of the first 45 minutes.
I think it's making mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. You've got to get over it at this level. Can't let a bad start affect your game.
Kirikes. Down. Nice little flick, might break here for Ivan. Ben White was across quickly. He'll be the happier of the 2 managers, the Romanian coach. Godfrey pinching it. Gamora. This is a claim for Sam Johnson. And there is the half-time whistle, and England's backup boys struggled to open up Austria on Wednesday, and despite hitting the bar twice in the first 45 minutes through Calvert-Lewin and Jadon Sancho, it is a familiar tale here this late evening. Sam Johnson has been called into action twice by the Romanians too. Analysis is on the way with Ashley Cole, Ian Wright, Roy Keane and Mark Pugac, but at the break it's England 0, Romania 0.
Euro 2020 on ITV and ITV Hub.
pressure. Be okay.
Attacked by Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he hits the crossbar. And here's Sancho. It's the second time that England have rattled the frame of the goal.
That's the closest that England have come, goalless at the break. Ashley, what have you made of it from England's point of view?
It's been okay. I think, you know, a couple of individual performances that have, you know, struck my eye, but overall it would have been difficult to break down Romania. So, you know, second half, hope a little bit more.
I think James Ward-Prowse is one of those, and we have this little sort of battle to replace Alexander-Arnold. He is doing his chances no harm at all, is he?
No, he's not. Ben White has to get a mention as well. I think he's been very composed, very comfortable. He's done a lot of good things, but James Ward-Prowse is that midfielder. What I'm looking at for us is taking a claim where he's tigerous. He's getting in and around it. There's not many of the England players who I've seen in an England shirt that have been getting in and winning balls and doing what he does like he does now. You know, he's getting in there, he's winning, he's tigerous, he's around people, he's got 100% possession in respect of completion. And, you know, he's one of those that chases it down, he wins it back, he gets it back. And in this situation, his delivery is fantastic. So, again, we've got somebody else who's staking a really good claim alongside Ben White.
And with Alexander-Arnold now out of the squad, of course, because of injury, he actually is the one with the set-piece speciality, isn't he, Ward-Prowse?
He has, you know, he showed immense quality in a couple of balls he delivered in. But as rightly mentioned, you know, he's been industrious, he's been, you know, aggressive when going up to players and winning the ball back and regaining it and then starting the attacks again. So he's played well so far, yeah.
Jadon Sancho, we talked about him beforehand. Is his decision-making not quite right this afternoon?
Well, at the moment, the big question mark For any attacking players, the end product. He showed some nice touches. We obviously know his quality. This was a lovely bit of move here with Jack. Quick play, quick 1-2s, and he's a bit unlucky, but the end product has to be a bit better. Will come down to his decision making. But he showed nice touches, but needs to do a little bit more if he's going to force him into the England team.
Is he running infield a bit too much for your liking, into traffic?
Well, one or two occasions he's done okay, but when he's been in wide positions, his job is to go past people, and yeah, maybe he's just not been quite at the races on that side of it. But as attacking players, sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but end product is going to be vital, and he's not just done it so far, so he needs to do a bit more. The same for Jack, same for Rashford. When these teams are sitting back, the attacking players have to force the game, and they've not quite done enough.
I think that Sancho opportunity there was the first time England got 4 or 5 players in and around, you know, distances close to each other. The little combination, we spoke, you know, before we come on air, we're saying 1-2 touches. The minute they do that, they create a great opportunity.
Well, all you want to do is, you want to see if we're getting possession, we've got like 67% possession, we've had 7 shots. I think we can have more. We've seen that they're quite dangerous on their left side. They've got tricky players, but we've got to be in the positions when we're getting it into that last third, really attacking them, really going for it.
And, you know, for all their decent play, they've not really tested the goalkeeper. Need to do more.
Yeah, and Jordan Henderson about to come on for 45 minutes, which will be really significant to see if he can get the pace of the game, if he can get up to speed.
Well, like Roy said,
and how fit he looks, frankly.
Yeah, well,
as well.
like Roy said earlier on, you know, he's coming into a game where we're looking at it. It looks relatively comfortable, so it's the kind of game you want to see him in.
Okay, competition time now, and with a very healthy prize on offer, have a watch of this. We're giving one lucky viewer the chance to boost their bank balance by £50,000. We'll also throw in a £4,000 home entertainment package with a 65-inch smart TV, home cinema multi-speaker system and more for you to enjoy ITV's coverage of UEFA Euro 2020 this summer. You've got to be in it to win it, so to enter, just go to the website. Entries cost £2. Text footy to 80567. Text costs £2 plus your standard network rate message, or post your name and number to ENG21, PO Box 7558, Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrants must be 18 or over. Entries close at 3 p.m. on Monday the 7th of June, and entrants must be contactable on Thursday the 10th of June and for 2 working days after. Good luck.
I've come all the way from Marrakesh. You got the cash. No, it's actually money, isn't it? It's money. I've come all the way from Marrakesh. Cam.
Jason.
I'm so glad you could come. A peace offering. Do come in.
Oh, this is plush in here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Take a seat. Would you like a drink?
Yeah, why not?
You see, drama, it's in the craft. The writers, they actually have talent. The cadence, the rhythm, the elegance of words can betray the most savage of motivations. The lyrical nuance of performance can conjure a joy, sanguine beauty, malevolence that few can imitate. We are reflectors. We are the essence of mankind. Modern-day Aristotle's. If that's not too pretentious.
Yeah. You got any nuts? Cheers.
Which one's which?
I don't know. You tell me, Socrates.
Cheers, Kemi.
Cheers, Jason. Oh, that's lovely. I've come all the way from Marrakesh. You got the cash.
Money.
You got the money. I got the gun. That's quite good, though. I've come all the way from Marrakesh. You've got the money. I've got the gun.
Half-time 0-0 here in Middlesbrough, and Scotland 1-up in Luxembourg. We're down to 10 men. Che Adams scoring for the Scots. Highlights 10:30 tonight on ITV and STV. So second half to come here from the Sunshine on Teesside, which has been an excellent venue for both these friendlies and has laid on some good weather as well. We did talk about the issue regarding taking the knee before kick-off, and there was some booing when the players took the knee, despite all the explanations from the England camp. How would that affect the England players, do you think, hearing some booing while they do that?
So you know what, I think they just have to kind of focus on the match. They've made it clear that they're going to continue to do it. They've got the backing, obviously, from Gareth. The players believe in it. Just focus on the game of football now and just get on with it. And I think Gareth said before the game, they're not really in control of what the fans do, whatever the reaction might be, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ashley?
Same as Roy. First and foremost, I think he's never going to stop. You know, it's fans that don't want to listen. Like I said before, they don't want to understand. They don't like change. So yeah, again, disappointing that we heard the boos, but as Roy said, the players have just got to carry on, because in my personal view, it's not going to change.
But what you do as a player, you focus on the game. The people what we're dealing with, if they can't understand now the amount of times the players are explaining why they're doing it, and you're still explaining it and they're still booing, you don't need to take notice of those people now, because they're taking the knee for the right reasons, and that's all that matters. When the games come, when it comes around to Croatia, they'll do their job. They'll do a professional job.
Yeah, it's not that they maybe can't understand, they don't want to understand.
Don't want to understand. Don't want to understand. And the fact is, you've got to still try and reach those people. You can't leave them. You have to try and reach them.
Absolutely. Okay, Jordan Henderson coming on, we would imagine, for the second half. That's certainly what Gareth Southgate said. We don't know who for. I'd imagine, Calvin Phillips? That would make sense, wouldn't it? You want to leave Ward-Prowse on to prove he is coming on for Phillips. Ward-Prowse on to prove that maybe he should be the 26th man.
Well, possibly so. Again, he's doing well enough tonight. We know he's a good professional. He's had a very good season. So, yeah, he's obviously got to give Gareth a headache, but I'm pretty sure Gareth's already made his mind up who is going in the squad.
What have you made of Rashford in the first half?
He's been good. I think I've enjoyed his runs in behind. We mentioned it before the game. His link-up play's been good. Maybe should have had a contentious penalty, but no. Hopefully, second half we'll see a little bit more from him.
I want to see him attack them more. This is the opportunity with the possession we've got. More shots, attack them more.
First time since February the 20th, Jordan Henderson takes to the football field. This will be an interesting second 45 minutes. 45 minutes left till the real stuff starts in the Euros. Calvin Phillips off, Jordan Henderson on, Lee Dixon and Sam Matterface in position.
Yeah, it's been 106 days since Jordan Henderson last played for Liverpool. That was against Everton in the Merseyside derby. And he's on the field of play for 45 minutes ahead of the European Championships, which starts on Friday. And that's the ball that they're going to be using. It's called the Uniforia, which is an amalgamation of the words United and Euphoria. There you go.
See what you did there.
Bit of added information for you. It's the idea of being inclusive. We're underway in the second half. What are you expecting from Jordan Henderson in this second 45?
Well, there's no doubt he'll have to pace himself. I was watching him in the warm-up before the game actually started, do a little circle, keep ball, and he was in the middle trying to win the ball back. And he looked like he was pacing himself in that little training session. Now all of a sudden you're thrown into the game. You don't have that luxury. Players won't stop running past you, so it'll be a proper test for him, the fact he hasn't played for all that time.
He's a cracking leader, isn't he? He was the captain that led Liverpool to their first title in 30 years. And the second half has started in similar fashion for Jack Grealish.
Yeah, another one. And also a really dangerous position again for Ward-Prowse to get his mitts on the ball. Interesting to see how high this line is. They've got a wall that's probably about 15 yards away from the ball at the moment. And the back line are setting their line on the same horizontal line as that wall. Dangerous position.
Ward-Prowse again with the delivery, and it's sent goalwards by Ben Godfrey. Calvert-Lewin was in there as well. And the two of them went towards the ball.
Wow, what a ball that is. It looks like Godfrey gets the touch on it. Calvert-Lewin's in there as well, and miss-hit that anywhere, and it goes in straight into the goalkeeper's midriff.
Grealish. Rashford trying to take on Sorescu again. He's a bit short. And results in an England throw.
I think Marcus Rashford's already played himself into that starting lineup just with his movement and the willingness to run in behind, something that England are desperately will need against Croatia.
Only Chelsea and Manchester City players will be back for that. Foden, Sterling, Chilwell, James, Stones, Walker and Mason Mount. They joined up on Friday with the England squad at Rockcliffe Park in Middlesbrough. White. Henderson can't keep it in.
It's been good, Ben White. I think everything he's done has been assured. Not been threatened an awful lot behind, but so far so good.
Powell. White sees it back to Johnston. Stanchu. This is Ivan, who's in that under-21 team that upset England. Sorescu, missed by Mings again. An opportunity, which eventually comes through to Marin. The first opportunity came to Kamora on the far side, but the left-back wasn't entirely comfortable about hitting it.
Again, the threat from Romania coming from their right-hand side, England's left defensively.
Henderson away. Rashford further clear. Calvert-Lewin trying to work the ball to Rashford. Does just that. Enriquez nudges it out. Enriquez was one of the Bale 7 who signed after Gareth Bale was sold to Real Madrid. And a very successful career in Italy since then with Napoli and now Sassuolo. White. Really so neat with his feet. I was a little bit disappointed he didn't get it back off James Ward-Prowse. Calvert-Lewin chasing it, and was it Calvert-Lewin or Ben Godfrey almost scored an own goal on his debut?
Just look at this ball over the first defenders into that danger area. Keeper can't come for that because of the angle. It's Calvert-Lewin who gets the final touch on it. As I said, it comes off any part of his foot as a miss hit and it goes in. So I'm sure Gareth was looking at Ward-Prowse's delivery and going, do you know what? Have we got that in the squad?
We've got Mason Mount who takes free kicks. Reece James isn't bad at them either. Phil Foden about to arrive. There's not many people who can swirl a ball into a dangerous penalty area like James Ward-Prowse. Henderson, Grealish, and again denied a foul. Marin brings it clear. Stanchu sends it long. Pone is chasing. Godfrey goes across. It was well managed by Ben Godfrey.
The thing is with Ward-Prowse, you've got to get him in the side. I think, obviously, with England full strength, he doesn't get in the team. But to have him in the squad, to bring him on, to use him, utilise him, have something a bit different, he's certainly that. And he'll run all day long for you. He'll press. As you said, he rarely gets injured. I just think he's certainly be on Gareth's mind, that's for sure.
Not suggesting for 1 minute that it will ever come to this, but he does take penalties.
Don't go there.
Scored 3 penalties for them this season. Gareth Southgate, who's got a whole department at the FA, who did lots of penalty research ahead of the World Cup in Russia in 2018. Research that has been updated and continued since then. Missed by Rashford, comes through to Serescu. It was dangerous. Another good opportunity for Romania, who have had sporadic chances.
Well, Serescu knew what he was going to do. He was trying to clear it with his head, so he just stayed back. He waited for it. Lovely technique, just past.
He's converted from a winger is Serescu. So he knows all about attacking play. England haven't managed to beat Romania since the 1970 World Cup. They've lost the last 2 meetings, the World Cup in 1998 and in Euro 2000. There's another opportunity for Romania here. Again, it wasn't too far away, this time from Chicaldo.
Well, they just got caught out on that right-hand side. Keeps his eye on his ball, means wants him to go down the outside. Does his job in that respect. The angle's really tight. It's good defending in the end.
How frustrated will he be about the ease with which Romania have carved chances? They haven't taken those chances, but they've created enough to cause England problems. Here's an issue for him to get even more frustrated about. The left knee of Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Suggesting it was an impact injury. Just look at that, it just catches a little knee on the back of his knee, which suggests he just jarred it. It looks all right, he's on his feet.
Just trying to run that off and hobble away from the situation. We've already seen over these 2 friendlies, he is almost uncatchable in the air. But the decision was made not to take an extra striker. Ollie Watkins, who they did include in the initial 33, is not in the 26. Johnston's come a long way here. Shaw. Too heavy to try and bend it round for Marcus Rashford, who's always a willing runner. In fact, I think it might have gone out on this near side for a throw-in. is Milan Radoi's 13th game in charge of the national team today. They've only won 4 of them, and they've had chances. Grealish trying to fashion one for England. Rashford trying to scythe his way through. There might have been an earlier opportunity to pull the trigger there, Lee.
Yeah, he just opened himself up. Easy for me to say standing here, but it looked like the shot was on. Bend it in that far corner. He took another touch, tried to take it all away. And again, it's Grealish knowing the game, knowing where the space is. 2 defenders towards him. The space is for Rashford. 3 defenders around him in the end.
You're pretty convinced that England are going to play a 3 next week. How are you going to not select Jack Grealish?
Well, he plays in my team, that's for sure. We haven't got anybody like him. So I think when you're playing in a tournament, try and pick players who are going to hurt the opposition. There's no doubt that every time he gets the ball, 2 or 3 of the Romanian players start wandering towards him, and to play with that just opens up the game completely. He'd definitely be my starting lineup, so would Foden.
Sancho. Not seen much of him in the second half. There's a 1-2 with Grealish. He's enjoying himself when he's on the ball, isn't he? Shaw into Rashford, back to Shaw, and that's going to be a free kick. And it might well be the first yellow card of the game as well. Ivan booked for a tug back on Luke Shaw, who was getting away down that left-hand side and threatening Romania.
Yeah, he's away from him in that space, and now again Ward-Prowse in one of his favourite positions. Imagine he just has a little look at that far post.
A slightly different angle of attack for James Ward-Prowse. He's been able to toss the ball into the box with space to attack from the England forwards. It's a little bit tighter, closer to goal.
Just shoot at that far post. Almost try and bend it into the far post. Any run across the goalkeeper, keeper's got no chance.
He's done that before. Does have one England goal to his name. Not quite another.
No, try to give him the eyes and go in that near post. Centre backs who were up weren't too pleased.
Good touch, takes out a couple of England players. Marin again, looking for Ivan to run in behind. Mings is there to mop up. Kirikes away. Ivan. It's a rescue. Shaw with a decent header into Rashford, which allows him to run down the touchline. It probably was an easier ball infield to Jack Grealish. It's decision-making like that is going to be required on the highest stage. It was decision-making like that that caused him a few problems in the Europa League final. Sancho doing well to get back and snuff out any danger that was being posed by Chicaldo. It's pretty clear it's a young group. It's an inexperienced group of England players. There are only 3 in their 30s, and it is a first major tournament for 15, possibly soon to be 16 of the squad. Certainly amongst the group itself there is a palpable sense of excitement. They're eager to get the tournament underway. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's dad was very proud of the fact that he was called up into the final 26 He rapped the John Barnes segment of World in Motion down the phone when he rang home to break the news. Not very well, apparently, but he gave it a go. And again, we'd all do it badly compared to John Barnes, wouldn't we? Pone trying to escape Henderson and Mings. Ward-Prowse wedges it away. Now on to Rashford from Calvert-Lewin. And he's running at Ledacharu and steering it wide. They did really well to escape and isolate Ledacharu. Couldn't find the finish.
Well, Ledacharu did well as well, because Rashford threatened to go on the inside of him and then just goes outside. He doesn't give him any space to cut in. Tries to get it in that far post, but just cuts across it.
Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham are being issued with instruction by Gareth Southgate. Henderson finds Calvert-Lewin. Rice and Bellingham coming onto the field of play, which would suggest that those two will go into the centre of midfield, but it's Ward-Prowse and Sancho who are coming off. It's going to be a slight twist in formation for England. Rescue. This is Stanchu. Rescue. Marin. Did you just get attacked by a pigeon?
We did, 2 pigeons.
Don't get in a flap. Here's Sancho. Looks like Hadji is going to come on for Romania as well. Fans of Rangers will be keen to see him in action. Ledacharu. Interception by White, who quietly has had quite a good game.
Yeah, he's been the one out the back four, really assured, stepped in when he's needed to. He's not got beaten beyond, thrown himself at some balls in the first half, closing shots down, etc.
Bellingham and Rice ready to enter the fray, and it is the final act for James Ward-Prowse. Is it going to be the final act of his England summer, or will he be the one that Gareth Southgate calls into the 26? His manager is full of respect for his efforts. Now it's Rice and Bellingham to try and inject a little bit of pace, and Rashford being sent out to the far side as Sancho comes off the field of play. So Rashford will go over to the right, Grealish to the left, Calvert-Lewin through the centre. The 2 changes, Kapusha coming on, off comes Alabek and Serescu. It's a like-for-like replacement with Kapusha. And Hadji for Alabek, similarly so. And Yanis Hadji, who's had a habit of scoring important goals, and yes, it is the son of, wearing 14, Georgie Hadji's offspring. He scored some important goals for Stephen Gerrard's Rangers, like the one he got against Hibs at Christmas and St Johnstone at home. He's genuinely two-footed, technically gifted, and his output really for goals and assists with Rangers over the course of the season pretty impressive, especially earlier in the campaign. And his dad was okay. Grealish. Oh, he's done brilliantly. And now he's gone down. Penalty. Kapusha's first act after coming on as a substitute is to give away a penalty to England.
Well, it's brilliant. Creates it and then runs straight across the defender. Just watch his body position here. He's fighting with him and then he just runs across him. Looks like he gets a little bit of a clip from that angle. You can't quite see it, but there's no doubt that once he gets ahead of the defender's in trouble and he just runs across his line.
Well, Marcus Rashford, the 11th man under Gareth Southgate to wear the captain's armband, a scorer in a penalty shootout in the Europa League final. He scored some important penalties for Manchester United over the years. And take on the responsibility of this spot kick in the absence of Harry Kane. Rashford eyeballs the goalkeeper Nitsa. Curves his run up. Simple. A strike from this evening's skipper gives England the lead. It was a nerveless penalty from Marcus Rashford.
Well, Nitsa's waiting, hands behind the back. Who blinks first? The goalkeeper does, he goes to his right. Rashford's looking straight at him. Just opens his body up. Really good penalty. And this is Grealish just running across his defender. Just leaves that lazy left leg, almost Jamie Vardy type. Creates the contact. As soon as you get across your defender like that, you're just waiting for something to touch you.
If VAR's looking at that, is it overturning it?
Is it clear and obvious? I'd probably still get that, although he does know exactly what he's doing. Not to say that that's wrong. If you get ahead of your defender a little bit, you've got to run across him anyway. He can't do anything. He's in the wrong position.
It does just show how difficult he is to deal with, doesn't it?
It's absolute starts. #1 on the team sheet for me.
I saw your team sheet earlier on. It's quite top heavy.
No, I'm a defender, aren't I? I've got a little bit of sensible players in there as well.
Yeah, at the moment it just says Stones at the back.
I'm working, it's a work in progress.
Rice finding Shaw. So England have the lead in a game in which they've been quite frustrated over the course of the 70 minutes we've had. Rashford. It's a lovely cross. And the goalkeeper did very well to come out and meet it before Dominic Calvert-Lewin could snaffle up a chance.
Oh, it's a lovely ball. Straight out to him, first touch, there's the space, you can see it, and Calvert-Lewin just can't get it in front of his defender, maybe challenge the goalkeeper as well, but any mistake there, it's a tap-in.
Chicago tackled by Ben White. Yes, in a couple of times there to win the ball back for England. White still showing his industry. Hadji's got it. actually scored against England in that famous 4-2 under-21 game in Italy a couple of years back. And some of the graduates of that Romania team have progressed to full internationals. Nedecharu, Hadji, Chicaldo and Ivan. And some of them have gone in different directions too. Grealish, Shaw, flashing it through the penalty area, and it travelled a very long way without interruption.
I know we've talked about him a lot, Grealish, but when he gets the ball there, and because he drives so quickly with the ball, the whole of the back four has to drop off. No one fancies themselves enough to go towards the ball, so they all drop off. That creates the space further ahead. That's what he does to teams.
What do you make of this England formation? With Rice as the deeper of three-man midfield, Henderson and Bellingham either side.
Yeah, I like it. I like that. I like 4-3-3, but you just feel if Gareth's going to play three at the back against Croatia, obviously then the wing-backs come into play, and then it's two in midfield in order to get you three up front.
The accusation was, especially at the World Cup in Russia in 2018, that maybe Gareth lacked a little bit of nimbleness in spotting a problem and changing it. Well, his substitution certainly paid off on this occasion. Delivery to deal with for England here. Ivan. Mings going in on Ivan, who claimed that he was fouled. Looked a little bit theatrical. Just have to be a little bit careful in those scenarios, though.
It's just a little bit of nothing.
Well, there was an incident in the game against Austria in midweek where Mings could have given away a penalty.
Yeah.
There was certainly a little bit more contact in that incident than there was there. Well, it's great to have the crowd back at the Riverside Stadium. Wembley is looking forward to hosting 20,000 or more for the Croatia game and the Scotland game and the Czech Republic match. Oh, here's Chicaldo. Comes back towards Ivan. It's a brilliant save. What a stop from Sam Johnston. He made more saves than anybody else in the Premier League, but none as good as that.
Well, he got caught out on that right-hand side, long ball, and what a save this is. It bounces up, it's a volley. He just throws everything at it. He's quick on his feet, back up. Fabulous save.
Jordan Pickford would be pretty happy with that sort of save. What a great stop. And he's got the punch in as well. That was absolutely breathtaking, wasn't it? His reaction speed was wonderful. He comes from a good school of goalkeepers. His dad was a goalkeeper in the 90s.
Look how quick he gets back on his feet. Strong hands, so easy to let that in. Hits the end of your fingers, top of the net, but strong wrists. I'd be really pleased with that.
Lingard and Trippier on. And Rashford coming off. Captain's armband will switch to Jordan Henderson. Luke Shaw's evening is finished as well. Trippier again going over to the left-hand side of the defence to play at left full-back. Good header by Godfrey. Trippier's first touch, Rice. Trippier. Beautiful late evening sunshine here in Teesside. It was very warm during the match as well, especially just prior to kick-off. And I think grateful for the fact they'll be playing most of their football, should things go their way, at Wembley. Oh, that was a little bit rough. Grealish fouled, and the follow-through seemed to maybe accidentally whack him in the head from Vlad Chiriches.
Well, only Chiriches knows what happened here. He goes down. Got to give him the benefit of the doubt, just.
You think Jack Grealish is going to give him the benefit of the doubt?
He just wants the ball again.
Chipped forward by Henderson. It's on towards Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and it's another penalty. And Chiriches, who's just escaped a problem with rogue right foot on Grealish's head, he's not getting away with that one.
Well, he's not complaining either. That little head there just takes it away from Chiriches. Definite penalty. There's a little shove in the back. Neville Chiru, but no doubt about that foul.
Well, this is interesting because Dominic Calvert-Lewin picked the ball up, then Jordan Henderson went over to grab it. He is one of only 7 outfield players to have over 50 caps and have never scored for England. Jordan Henderson against Florin Nitsa. He still hasn't. Well, he wanted the moment, but couldn't convert from 12 yards.
Well, I'm not saying you're a jinx, but as soon as you gave that stat, I was thinking goalkeeper all day. And he's tried to give him the eyes. The goalkeeper guessed right. Totally different technique than Rashford. The goalkeeper read him. Perfect height for a goalkeeper, that.
Grealish. Van can't hold it up. Well, Jordan Henderson has had penalty heartbreak before with England. He was one who missed in the shootout against Colombia, and Jordan Pickford got him out of a hole. And this one is a little bit less significant. Chicaldo is off, and on comes Constantin Budescu. The other change is Alexandru Balutska coming on. Home has his debut brought to a premature end. And we've got more football for you tonight on ITV. Highlights of Luxembourg against Scotland, 10:30. ITV and STV. Also the goals from the Belgium-Croatia game. Turkey-Italy is the opening match of Euro 2020. Just 5 days away now. Highlights of that opening game, 11 o'clock on Friday night. And then Saturday, we've got live coverage of Belgium against Russia, 7 p.m. ITV. Bellingham finding Henderson. Now Calvert-Lewin, saved by the goalkeeper Lowe. It was straight at him, in fairness.
Really good pass from Henderson. The pace on the pass allows Calvert-Lewin just to let the ball run across him, set himself up.
Grealish. That's a decent ball by Lingard. Finding Godfrey. Bellingham. Oh, lovely cross. Header from Calvert-Lewin. Well, it was a decent save by Nitz. It wouldn't have counted anyway because the referee blew for a foul. What a chance.
Yeah, he was a little bit over the top of him. See there, he just puts his hands on his shoulders, levers himself up. Good ball in though.
It's a great delivery from Bellingham, isn't
Great
it?
Save. Nitz didn't know the whistle had gone.
Last action of the game for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who hit the crossbar in the first half of the match and won the second penalty. And he's replaced by Ollie Watkins, another of those who won't be going to the tournament, and it's England's final change. Rice pushing forward, trying to pressurise Hadji. This is Kirikez. Bellingham wins the ball back high up. Watkins, Lingard. Watkins just driven a little bit wide. It's aimed towards Bellingham. How has that not gone in? What a chance for a first England goal.
Well, you think how does he miss? But Kirikez just follows him in there. Sees him at the far post, wanders back there and just puts a challenge in. I have to say, just hits his trailing leg in the end.
Well, it was a little bit of luck for Vlad Kirikez. I think we can put it in that category, but it all helps, doesn't it? Trippier, another of those set-piece deliverers. Deep towards Mings. And he just got underneath the ball.
Yeah, really good ball, Trippier. We know what he's got delivery-wise. He gets away from his marker. A little push there, but as you said, a little bit underneath it. Get a free header in the 6-yard box. We expect to hit the target.
Nedelcharu has been replaced by Adrian Roos. That's for the final 6.5 minutes of the game. Adrian Roos, who is currently playing in Hungary. Kapusha. Stanchu. Balutza trying to get away from Tyrone Mings, who stuck to his task. Goal kick. Well, it's pretty clear that Gareth Southgate has had to chop and change in these preparation games. But the wider England viewer probably was hoping to see more of the side that might take the field next week. No Manchester City and Chelsea players in today's squad, because once they reached the Champions League final, it was decided they wouldn't play in these warm-up games.
Never actually known a warm-up to a tournament like this. Game before you actually play. Hardly any of your first teamers playing.
Haven't really ever known a season like this, though, have we?
No.
Lingard has found Bellingham. Standing forward, Bellingham. Grealish. Well, he's hogged the ball and will probably hog the headlines again. It's been another impressive display by Jack Grealish. It's also been marked by the fact that those who are not in the squad going forward have made key contributions. Trippier's delivery. Flicked on, and it was Godfrey who got the first header, and Watkins who couldn't stab it home.
That's a great position Watkins finds himself. Just peels on any flick to that far post, and he's there. I have to say, stretching for it a little bit, but
I remember what happened on Wednesday night, where England were in control but only 1-0 up, and as a result found themselves in difficulty at the end of the game. To be a little bit careful. Hadji. It's aimed in towards that near post, and Ivan was so close to connecting.
well, that's too easy. The ball out to that side, too easy. Time to cross it in any way you like.
Constantin Budescu with the swirling delivery. Ivan's so close to nudging it in. Lingard to Bellingham. Referee not giving a foul. Henderson appealing for one. Statue. Marin. Lutza. Jack Grealish, the beneficiary of a deflection. Bit of space for Henderson here. Watkins peeling away down the left, but it's Lingard who gets the ball. Bellingham to Trippier. There'll be any arguments in the England dressing room about Henderson's decision to take the penalty instead of Calvert-Lewin?
There will be now, yeah.
He's a penalty taker, Calvert-Lewin, and a pretty good one.
Well, he must have been next in line, surely. Well, he went to pick the ball up, didn't he? So
yeah. Lingard darting forward. Watkins on to Bellingham. Now Lingard blocked by Kirikez. England would like a second goal just to cap off their second half domination. They have been the better team. Hasn't been a perfect performance by Gareth Southgate's men. It looks like they're going to be sent off to the tournament with a victory, unless Romania can come up with something in the final minute of normal time. Some ball out by Budescu. Kapusha's cross cleared by Rice. Marin. Statue. Hadji. Trying to take on Godfrey. And Johnston had to react. Ran loose inside that 6-yard box. That was another nervy moment. And here's another one, because Bellingham's committed a foul 5 yards back from the edge of the D.
Well, it took him by surprise. Somebody's got to be in that near post area. Ben White just leaves it for his goalkeeper. He doesn't expect it to come. Johnston.
The last time that Mirel Radoy was at the Riverside Stadium, he was playing for Steaua Bucharest in a pivotal game against Middlesbrough in the UEFA Cup semi-finals. There was a late pivotal goal from Massimo Maccaroni that night. I don't want too many late bits of drama here. Grealish has already gone for a rest. An unnecessary one in the end. He ended up tripping up Tyrone Mings, I think, as he got to his feet. Wasn't the best of free kicks. Hadji. Grealish. Lingard. Just behind Ollie Watkins. There's a group of Leeds fans that are not too far away from Lee and I, who every time Ollie Watkins gets the ball are reminding Gareth Southgate that Patrick Bamford had quite a good season as well. It's nice to see that old traditions are still very much alive. Godfrey not being bullied there. Goalkeeper's been called out and he's come out. And I do say when you come out, make sure you do it properly. Take everything with you.
Well, Godfrey was trying to get out of the way. And he's clattered in. Just protecting the ball, clattered into him, and Ivan gets one right in the chops.
I did tell you about the UEFA Cup semi-final that took place here. Well, Gareth Southgate played in that, well, for 26 minutes before he got injured and had to come off. Mirel Radoy was part of the Steaua Bucharest team, and it is a match which is talked about a lot in Romanian football. It's seen as a huge moment. It doesn't really get talked about outside Teesside very often, but Gareth Southgate did reflect on it in the build-up to this game.
Well, he's got some reflecting to do over the next hour or so before he names that player.
It's a narrow but unconvincing win from England. Sometimes games just before a tournament are like that. And that may well be the description that is applied to this. England continue their tradition of heading to a major tournament with a win behind them thanks to Marcus Rashford's penalty in the second half. But although they have continued the winning habit, they will know that they are not to get carried away. Gareth Southgate thanks those who've attended the games at the Riverside Stadium over the course of the last week. Next week, their first game of the tournament begins against the World Cup finalist Croatia, before a meeting with an old foe. The real work starts now. Analysis on the way with the guys in just a moment, but it's finished at the Riverside Stadium. England 1, Romania 0.
They missed us. Love Island, this June on ITV2 and ITV Hub.
A coffee for lattes that's just called latte? What if everything was this simple?
Do you want to get married?
Yes. But where will we live?
There.
Do you want kids?
Sure.
What should we do now?
I want to be a stingray.
Taters. Great coffee, made simple.
We believe that working together makes anything possible. So imagine if when you did this happened. Carlsberg has partnered with WWF to plant seagrass, which can absorb carbon faster than a rainforest. Does that make our beer taste even better?
Fire. What's it smell like? Water. Life. It all happens in your kitchen. Moments become memories when you bake them in a cake. You might have only come in for a sandwich, but this is where you build a life. Kitchens by B&Q.
When you're booking a hotel, it's reassuring to know exactly what you're getting. So there's no unexpected surprises. A friendly face. Welcome. A clean, comfy room. And as much brekkie as you can handle. So you can work away without the worry. A family trip without the faff. From booking to bed, we're here to help you rest easy. Premier Inn. Rest easy. Only available to book at premierinn.com.
Ever find yourself with a little extra? Wouldn't it be nice to share it? Turn it into something you really want. Or keep it until you need it. Sky Mobile rolls your spare data so you can choose what you want to do with it. Sky Mobile. Hello, possible.
Pork bow, lamb dansac, chicken taco. We're quattro stagione. We're Calabrian pepperoni. We're prawn Szechuan, we're keema naan. We're England till we dine. We're St. George head to toe. But when that doorbell goes, we're brioche bun, wagyu beef, emmental cheese. Hey, good! Our hearts are England crazy. Our mouths are more jalfrezi. We're partisan, we're parmesan, we're England till we dine.
Deliveroo.
You can have fish and chips and all.
Y'all don't hear me. 6'6" piston, tiptoe kiss 'em, cat call kittens, whole milk lick it, see my vision, rainbow smitten, nobody safe, nobody, you and you and you and you can be my lover, 'cause love looks better in color, love looks better in color.
England win 1-0, a live wire. Jack Grealish wins the penalty and Marcus Rashford on the day he's named captain scores from the spot and it's enough to win the game. Let's hear from Marcus Rashford then with Gabriel Clark.
Great. Marcus, you've had a special year, but whether scoring the winner and captaining your country at the same time, Rank.
Yeah, it's definitely a great moment for me. You know, it's something that you dream of doing when you're a kid, and you know, today I managed to accomplish that dream. You know, the game was a difficult game. We had to work hard, we had to stick together. They played out well with the ball, and it was challenging defensively. You know, trying to press and win the ball back, but I think, you know, we created a lot of chances. We was good from set players, both attacking and defensively. And ultimately today, that's what won us the game.
And one of the first times, I think, playing with Jack Grealish, who won the penalty. What does he offer the team?
Yeah, I think he's a great player. You know, I think he'll definitely grow in an England shirt. And yeah, we know from training what he can do, and we know from obviously the Premier League what he can do. And for us, it's just about allowing him to, you know, reach that full potential in an England shirt and getting the best out of him. And you know, I think that way we'll win more games with him in the team.
The manager made it very clear yesterday what taking the knee does and doesn't represent to this team. What did you make of the booing?
You know, it's something that we can't control. You know, for us, we believe it's the right thing to do, so we're going to continue to do it.
And sum up England's chances now, the belief as you head into the tournament.
I think we have to have that self-belief, the self-confidence. But we know that we have to improve. If we want to win the tournament, we have to improve. So we'll keep our heads down and we'll keep working.
Well played.
Thank you.
So a couple of 1-0 wins this week in the friendlies. Roy, what's Gareth Southgate learn in terms of selecting a team for Croatia next weekend?
I don't think he would have learned too much from the last couple of games. I think it was obviously a plus for some of the lads getting their fitness levels up. People like Grealish who knew the game, obviously, would be happy with Jordan getting 45 minutes. But I don't think he would have learned too much from the last couple of games. I think, again, he would have known in his head what probably starting 11 he wants, if everyone's fit. I think he'd probably go back to a back 5 for next weekend. So I don't think there was anything fantastic that he would have learned over the last few days.
What about Jack Grealish? Is he in that 11 possibly from what we've seen?
Well, I'd have him in the starting 11. I've said it before about Jack, what he does, and we've seen over the last few days again. He affects games. He makes things happen. He beats people. He wins free kicks. We know the importance of obviously set piece. We saw again today. And he's such a naturally talented player going past people. He might be lightning quick, but when he gives and goes, he's hard to stop. And he's a handful. And again, every time you watch Jack Grealish after a game, you're talking about him. I'm going back to Villa. There was question marks a couple of years ago. Would he step up to international football? He has done so far. There's obviously bigger tests to come. But Jack, what I would say about him, he's got a lot of courage and bravery, and he makes things happen on a football pitch. And very players can do that. Very few players do that. And we saw there today, that was just, listen, poor defending. But Jack, give and go, quick 1-2, and he was always going down. Listen, he's quick to go down, but these are vital moments.
Yeah. He's always asking questions, isn't he? Rashford rolls the penalty in, Ashley, but he's always asking questions, Jack Grealish.
He is. Roy mentioned it, that self-belief and confidence going into games. As soon as he gets the ball, he wants to drive up plays, he wants to commit plays, he wants to beat players. Apart from him, you don't have that many players in the same ilk as him and with the same quality. So, he's a breath of fresh air at the moment, yeah.
Yes. Well, what can I say about Jack? I'm just delighted that he's in there. When he wasn't in the squad, I was calling for him to be in the squad because he's the kind of player that, like Roy says and rightly says, you need him, because when he gets in the last third of the pitch, he's very difficult to contain. Left foot, right foot strength, dribbling at people, 1-2s, everything that you need when you're in a game that might be a tight game and you need to open a team up. He does all that.
1-0 then to England. Should have been 2-0 really, because Jordan Henderson missed a penalty. I think we'd agree that the second penalty here was a lot more clear-cut than the first. It's actually Henderson's ball to Calvert-Lewin, and a clumsy challenge that comes
it was a poor challenge. Calvert-Lewin actually misses his first touch. The ball comes up and he eggs it, but it's a terrible challenge from Kiricic. And
now, you wouldn't like this as a centre-forward, that you get bumped off penalty-taking duties.
Well, the thing is, it's the person who's bumping you off, isn't it? It's Jordan Henderson. As much as, we're looking at somebody who's never scored for England, missed in the shootout against Colombia, he fancied it. He wanted to take it. It's the kind of game that if you're going to take a penalty, this is the one you take it in to try and maybe build your confidence. But I'd be disappointed if I was Calvert-Lewin, because you could see that he wanted it. I'd be very disappointed as a striker.
He should have fought his corner there, shouldn't he?
I think
should
so,
have just showed a bit of maturity. I don't care who you are. I've won the penalty. I'm a striker. You've been out again for 3.5 months. Yeah. Back away.
I'm next in line,
absolutely.
As well.
But
strikers are supposed to be selfish.
Yeah, but we're talking about Jordan Henderson. He's a massive figure in the dressing room. For him to say that, no, I'm going to take it, and they have this tussle, me take it, you take it, it's not going to look good for Calvert-Lewin.
But as you said, right, Jordan comes over. It's not as if Jordan scored loads of penalties or loads of goals. You're the striker, you've won the penalty.
He's exercised his power. He's exercised his power.
But if you're a striker, what would you have done?
I'd have probably gave it to him, because, I wouldn't want to.
You're lying. You're lying. You wouldn't give it to Messi or Maradona.
No, I wouldn't have done that, simply because he's like the senior squad member. He probably said, I'll take this.
Why do you keep saying that? It's about putting the ball in the back of the net.
Well, why did he give it to him if he didn't?
Well, he shouldn't have done it. It's not a good sign from him.
I tell you one thing about, the build-up to the goal is Jordan Henderson's strength, is that ability to play a little bit longer from the halfway line, whereas the other two midfielders, I don't feel they have that in their locker. So, well done for putting the ball in behind, but yeah, Calvert-Lewin's got to take that penalty.
He wouldn't take it off Harry Kane, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, got 45 minutes in his leg. That's a good thing. England win 1-0 here. We'll look ahead to maybe what the team could be for the Croatia game. Will this man, Jack Grealish, who's been taking quite a pounding in the last two friendlies, will he start next weekend at Wembley against the World Cup semi-finalists?
Start your day with breakfast in bed, or are you up and at 'em with a Danish instead? One focaccia coming at you, or just white sliced bread? There's an avocado just for you. Your Friday needs the freshest fish, sea bream and salmon if you catch my drift. Want a classic pie with an unusual twist? There's an avocado just for you. carbonara in a Tuscan style. Love penne done al dente, but you're versatile. But like things kept in keeping with your veggie lifestyle. There's an avocado just for you. Just for you. Just for you. Want a whole frozen section behind Skidoo? There's an avocado.
With more choice than any other supermarket.
There's an avocado just for you.
So today we're putting the Sony Bravia OLED to the ultimate test, right?
Yes, so it's got a feature called Acoustic Surface Audio Plus. The sound follows action on the screen, so it's like hearing the real thing.
OK, well, let's put it to the test. Right, we're going to take a penalty. Are you ready? Where's the ball? There is no ball, it's magic. It's not really, it was a telly.
Buy any selected TV and there's a 1 in 20 chance to win your money back with Curry's PC World.
Bit of a nervous smile there, Neil. Twins, on top of these two. But you were the one who didn't want the... Anyways, now you need a bigger motor.